There's a lot of extra.
It's dangerous just to forget it and see it there. Or when I'm thinking it goes.
I don't know this one.
But we don't have to.
Call this meeting to order. Stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Number 3 on our agenda is the public comments from the floor. Agenda items only 2 minutes. 10 minutes. Board, I'm looking for approval of the minutes from July.
Only thing that I saw in here that I thought, matters is comments. So it says, on the first resolution 2026, says that the Paul made a motion to approve, Bill seconded, I abstained. It didn't say anything about your vote, so I don't know if that matters for the record or not. It only shows 2 votes.
Well, what's the resolution time? Usually when the resolution gets signed, we yea or nay on the resolution.
And everything
Can I put it in the minutes?
The resolution's already part of it, so if there is a signed resolution, that's gonna govern whatever your vote total say, anything.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for July.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion, second, all in favor? Bridget is not here to keep me out. I think I've looked at these so many times, they're not in order on that.
Well, you know, the president.
I do. Next, we have the approval of claims.
Make a motion to approve the claim 768 to
Okay. We have a motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. Sign that and put that down. Next is our discussion of Hollywood Way. And Ryan's here.
Ryan is here representing Hollywood.
Ryan.
Have any questions for him or us?
bring us up to speed on anything that they have changed since last month.
Nothing's really changed. I had a conversation with Ryan prior to the meeting, just trying to walk through some of the concerns that we have, that they may have. So he just came to field any questions that you may have. We staff haven't changed our opinion, so
Yeah, you may be aware we had a significant incident, a couple months ago, between a pedestrian and a vehicle, and so we're just exploring options on how we can mitigate that in the future, through any type of signage, crosswalk, traffic control as far as speed bumps, stuff like that. I think that would be our desire. We've had discussions with David and the street department and Jim, and, you know, at the end of the day, if the town doesn't have the appetite to make some of those changes, we are willing to assume the road and make some of those changes on our own. But our first choice was not to be assume the road.
Oh, okay.
But we also have an interest to make sure that we keep people safe, we keep the traffic control, because we don't want to assume for the liability if there be a future incident.
So, David, like, based on what Ryan said in the differential was conversations that I got related in the past was the 20-year take on what you like.
So, you know, we've had a couple meetings with Hollywood about traffic, and this was prior to that incident. And after that, it's kind of when we started taking a hard look at that road, as a staff. And, we just, as we, you know, addressed last time, we don't see a good way to mitigate a lot of the risks that are going on there. Jay, correct me if I'm wrong, but I just see it because there's so much traffic on that little road, pedestrian, semi, golf cart, forklift, et cetera, traffic constantly on that road. And it's a public right of way, public, main road for anyone to use. We're just concerned about exposure on the town side of liability. You know, we don't see a good way to mitigate a lot of these risks and still allow Hollywood to do what Hollywood needs to do to run their operations, because they have production on both sides of the street. They have to cross it. So we're just concerned from a town standpoint of liability, on our part. So first, if we allow Hollywood to continue to operate as they do, are we gonna be culpable here in another dramatic incident, eventually? So,
I think this is
kind of where we're at.
a bigger discussion, because, like, where would you, speed bumps, all that stuff, I understand, right? I mean, that makes sense. Whether it makes a lot of sense for the street department or not is a different question, but where would the street terminate at from our?
We were assuming Maple Street.
Yeah.
So that's all residential from there, Main Street, so.
And at Maple and beyond is really where you get the majority of the traffic. Anything prior to that, there's really
Yeah,
not a lot
that's
of.
pretty wide here. They just have one parking lot.
Very linear and more organized at that point.
When you say beyond, right, you're talking to the east or west?
To the west.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, my biggest concern would be long term, right? So we're looking at growth on 1300 as a real target for the county and everybody else. So what does that look like in the future on both sides of 1300? And who's, you guys know more than I do or whatever, but if we close that off, give it up now, then what happens in the future if, even if they expand to the west, what if the next property to the west, then where do they get access? Then they'd have to go to railroad tracks for that, or they'd have to go to the north and Elkhart County. Like, how does that all work?
Yeah, and in theory, there was in the conversation, at least from Hollywood side, of assuming that railroad crossing is west of them. And then we close Oak Street. I believe that's what CSX was kind of, that was the conversation with CSX. We'll leave that one, but we'll close that one kind of thing. That would allow access or to any industrial complexes that are west of Hollywood. So, yeah, and that was the concern I had too, is if that road is closed off and somebody builds next to Hollywood,
the probably would have to obviously be willing to allow them access from Main Street, if that were a choice. 1300 North is not a choice. That's definitely something else that would need to be. And mind you, we haven't had a conversation at length with you or anybody else from an engineering standpoint. This is just what we, through our experience, are seeing as an issue that needs some sort of resolution. So.
Well, I don't. And certainly safety is an issue, and if we can do anything to mitigate that, I'm open to that. I'm just curious as to what the long-term plan is for industrial development for the town of Syracuse.
Right.
1300 seems to be a logical spot for it based on county plans and
Right.
where we're at and what our industrial facility looks like right now. And I wouldn't want to do anything that would box us in long term or create issues, whether it be with the railroad or the surrounding areas. So I think it warrants a little bit bigger discussion. And just simply saying, public safety statement's good enough, because it could be a problem down the road, I think.
We can certainly engage with Jeremy here, you know, if you want him to do an actual traffic study, and take an engineer's eye to it and see what they see. You got a lot of years of experience between the three of us, and I'm not sure what they're gonna find we aren't seeing, but.
Brian, what are some of the things that you would want us to do?
So we've put some signage on either side of the road where a majority of our traffic, or at least the pedestrian traffic, crosses the street. But there's nothing from a vehicle standpoint going down the street that is alerting anybody else the crosswalk. So we painted both sides of the street, but obviously we don't control the street. So some type of crosswalk, we've talked about, you know, raised speed bumps or humps to slow traffic down or to alert traffic of an upcoming crosswalk. I mean, we're not the experts either. I would wanna get somebody size on it that.
And they probably did ask a couple years ago, about a crosswalk, and the town was declined, the council declined to see with it.
Well, more of the speed bump because of the snow removal.
That was part of it, was snow removal issues, was part of it for sure. There's different kinds, there's, what's called the shelf kind, there's the longer plateau kind, that are a little more plow friendly than the sudden stop ones, but, possibility.
But it's not only the pedestrian traffic, I mean, a big part of it is the, I forget, the trucks you move around, trailers around with. Yeah. So you have multiple large trucks coming in from all directions. Then you have the semis coming in and parking on the street waiting to unload, offload. So there's a lot more to it than just the pedestrian part of it. And that's from all the buildings from Maple Street down, that you get that traffic crossing the road at different various points.
During the summer, on average, there's about 70 semi trucks coming in and out per day. That doesn't include any golf cars, sports trucks, the, 800 cars that go in and out every day.
And
A lot that go through that little
Three
street.
shift changes a day.
Yeah, three
traffic.
it'd be impossible to enforce any crosswalks or vehicle movement from factory to factory. I mean, it's just so much on in that small area.
We've looked at it quite a bit, and I don't see a way to control traffic, in my experience, with anything that I could really do that would make us happy or positive. One of us is gonna be really unhappy.
Well, I mean, I think that's part of why it takes some long range planning and looking at what can be done. I mean, 1300 is, like I said, pretty much slated for industrial development, both because of the railroad, but also because of overpass, and preliminary access 15. So, what does that look like? And if we're we're gonna grow our industry in town, we're gonna need more ground, and if that corridor makes sense, then certainly we wanna address the safety concerns sooner than later, but at the same time, it seems to me that there needs to have access, not on Oak Street or Brooklyn to 1300, but maybe more of an industrial access. But then what does that look like? That railroad track is significantly above grade, and it's in that area, and I don't know what that does for semis. So like, what do we,
Yeah, well, I mean, we've had a
what does
couple of,
it take to?
we've had a couple of them hang up on Oak Street.
Anytime there's snow or ice, trucks try to get across there, and more times than not, they get stuck. And we've had to call tow trucks, large tow trucks out to,
And then any movement with the railroad is a multi-year process, it won't happen in a day. It's multi-year.
So what if, we have Hollywood take it over with, our clause that if in the future there needs to be a change because of what Nate's talking about here, that we couldn't write that in.
Does Hollywood own both sides of the road right now? Okay, so
With
they're your landowner, it's gonna be Street West,
with the exception of one small corner
for
store.
the very end, there's one small building that is not paved. Okay, well, then, except for that section, which would go to that owner, whoever that is, and then probably go to, Hollywood again. Once the street's vacated, the answer is no. Vacated or you don't. So you've got a combination of parties that have both safety concerns and liability concerns, and a combination of pockets that have both safety concerns and liability concerns. So, it seems to figure out what you wanna do, and then you should be able to, everybody step up and figure out what it's gonna cost for everybody's pockets to do that. But that's the real issue, the big issue, okay, well, what do we wanna do with it in the first place? And so you get a professional look at it, it doesn't sound like you got a simple solution to it.
Well, having looked this over in the daytime a couple times, it seems like the city should step out of it because its liability is there. When something drastic happens, it's our street.
If you'd be more comfortable if we had Jeremy take a look at it, come back with a report. Just so we know what options we should be looking at. It being your street doesn't necessarily create liability.
Well, that's true, I guess, I don't know.
Well, if it did, then we have problems in other parts of the town as well.
And if Davis, your point, what you're suggesting is looking at what the signage and,
Any
traffic control, whatever that needs to be, then you know the effect of, what's that gonna take. But also look at, to your point of, as you go west, how can you accommodate that if you actually block off the artery to get there? What's the option out there? And it's kind of a holistic view of it, so then you can make a sound decision.
Yeah, there's no doubt from my perspective, I mean, we wanna be a good partner to you guys, you're a great employer for the area, and, you know, it's been a good, contributor to both the county and the state for a while, so we wanna work closely with that, at least from my perspective, I do. I just wanna make sure that we're doing what is best long-term for all parties, so that we can, make good decisions. Cause just looking at it from this map, I know I talked about it before, and it's just a little bit of a tough spot, a little bit boxed in with the railroad. And then obviously not even having the land available at this point in time to even do anything with it. I mean, that doesn't help, and we're speculating that at some point those properties will become available for development, but, I don't look at any good solution for the housing that's between Main Street and you guys either. Going like in between the buildings to the north and kind of the water treatment plant, like going that way to create some other access, then you're just routing it right through another neighborhood, so that doesn't work either, so. Yeah, I mean, I think it would be worthwhile to get a recommendation, but I think the easy things we can do probably are signage and, maybe look at what other communities have possibly done in certain instances to see what they're doing to control it, but.
I would echo the relationship, we want that to be good, safety, happy, and everybody said. I'm fine with them taking a look at it. It's not that I don't trust you guys.
No.
It's just a big decision.
Jeremy, when you guys look at this, will you take into account what the grade of the railroad is and what it would take to make that easy passage by?
If you move west, instead of having Oak have something to the west.
There's already an existing railroad crossing on the property west of them.
Yeah, so, with the railroad, like, we had a conversation, but the agreement, the verbal agreement with the railroad, if we would ever acquire that land, that they would allow us to develop that farm crossing, and then, but they would require the closing of Oak Street, which I think many of us would be happy with. Sure.
I think you guys talked about that.
Yeah.
On the board.
So, but it's just,
More hazardous.
it's just a matter of time,
That's
but I mean, that would be, we already have that verbal agreement with the railroad to develop that crossing. And there's quite a bit of that, as the railroad, 1300 north, the railroad, digresses away from the road as you go west, so there's plenty of room there to grade that to where you wouldn't have that issue.
Yeah, that would be my thought of, what does that look like if that were an option in 5 years from now or 10 years from now? And then how do you use that as a corridor into a new industrial complex, both for their needs and expansion long term, and solve this one strong, because I don't think that CSX is gonna allow a bunch of road cuts across that track.
I think their rule is every new one, they close 3. That's like every crossing is there.
Yeah, I remember this was brought up before, I wanna say that they're hopefully close to 2 crossings, to do one, new crossing.
Which it looks like there's a couple of farm cuts across there right now, and I see two. So, but that would be, that's my fear. I mean, I've got a property on the same railroad line in Cromwell, and trying to get them to do a whole lot is very challenging. But we did have a lot of success in getting a bridge between the lake sticks, and that was because we had the right people involved at CSX, and I thought the compliance officer, the regulatory compliance officer for them, to have his contact information still too, so hopefully nothing changes on your end, that's easy, but hopefully he's still there, and we clean on that still if we have to, but, I'd be interested, that's just my biggest fear there, if all of a sudden we close off, if we box ourselves in because of the railroad, then all of the planning that goes into that could be very, very challenging, even more challenging than it needs to be, and we don't have a lot of direction to really grow. So if we cut ourselves off from that, I'd be afraid for long-term effects. I think it's more getting somebody to look at it and say, hey, this should be your objective.
Thank you. We got a meeting.
Thanks for putting me on the top list.
Next, number 7 says ordinance 2026-08, WHA supervision.
Which, it's, when we, the property by Bill. Yeah. You're good. I've got it on.
What happens to a property once it's vacated by the city?
The property goes to the adjoining landowner.
whether they want it or not?
Yes. Yeah, technically speaking, the land already belongs to the adjoining landowners. It's simply subject to the right of the public or the town to use that property for the street.
But, well, I think it's really a moot point tonight, right? Because Bill can vote and two of us can vote.
And this is just an introduction.
Okay. So what you're saying, Jay, is that this property, either we have two options, the town either maintains its position on it or vacates. Those are the options.
Yeah, it's currently subject to a public right of way. You can decide it will either continue to be subject to that public right of way, or it will not. And then the law by operation will decide what happens to the property and the control of that property if you decide to vacate it.
That's set in stone.
Yeah. Yeah, then of course, but usually that's not a big deal because people, if you've got a dispute between folks, then you probably won't vacate it. If you don't have a dispute and one of them wants it, the other one doesn't, well, that's what claim you for.
No, and that's where we're at.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it doesn't matter, but to me, it's a lake property. And it's worth something to somebody.
I agree.
And we need to give it up.
Well, the problem there is it's small, you could not build a house in there. The distance between both my house and his house is not enough to build anything. So I can't imagine anybody wanting it, other than, my neighbor, because of the purpose for it.
But does it matter? I mean, even if the town says, oh, we don't want to use it for right of way, but we want to put it up and sell it because it's an asset, is that even an option?
No.
And we couldn't build on it. Somebody likes it, right? So,
No, nobody can
so
build
that
it. Yeah.
situation doesn't matter.
Right, it has to be vacated, and then if the portion that they were divvied out to the adjoining landowners, I mean, I have to look up and see whether that portion that's left over is built on. Right now, if you don't vacate the right of way, then if I feel like coming down and swimming there, I can come down and swim there.
Right.
Chief Hunter, would you guys use that for anything?
I haven't specifically heard of this one, I just know where Councilman Musser lives, but I've dealt with, two other ones this month on North Kitson and South Kitson, and I had no issues with either of those vacations. People, when it comes to vacations like what you guys are talking about with this, people are really good about if we need access to property, in an emergency situation, there's not an issue. More of ours are when we talk about closing off roadways that can be used for specific purposes, then we have more of an issue with it.
This is abnormally large right of way, I feel like 40 feet wide, entirely, but we don't, why was it, anyone know why it was that?
I'm surprised you guys haven't rented it here at the end of that.
I was kind of thinking,
Probably didn't know it was there.
right,
It's
it's one of those.
this property is my property. It's not a small, nothing to consequence.
Could be a pocket park. Right along the
Well, if you vacate it, generally speaking, on lake property, you vacate access to lake property, the adjoining landowners will have more valuable real estate. They by the way.
Well, I really don't want to pay any more taxes. And that property would not benefit me at all. So,
It's better for you to take it, so.
well, see, that's split the property. I could sell my share.
Oh, sure.
I would
buy a property, come in as a new owner and be like, hey, Tyler, I want you to give this to me.
Well, the previous owner made this ask a few months ago and then
But because of,
decided not
because
to.
of the intent to sell.
Right.
So, which again, like, oh, if I could get another 20 feet of frontage, you know, I mean, why would I not have it? I get it, but.
Somebody else had asked me since I've done before,
On that one?
on the lake.
There's a lot of them that would ask.
Do we have any other discussion, Max? No.
Well, last meeting, you guys got to witness a lot of bids on your water project, really good ones. So with Okra, we can't really officially award anything, but now I'll ask for, a motion to accept the bids and authorize us to coordinate with a little bidder, to work out contract documents, in anticipation for release of funds, so we can keep the ball rolling with that, but just wanna summarize the bids we received. So the Okra / SRFPs, we got 6 bids on that project, ranging from 1.3 million to 2.4. Our estimate being 2.2, so with a low bid of $1,328,221.20, that was just shy of $1 million under budget. So that's good for you guys. Division D was SRF only. Had 4 bids for that one, ranging from 1.1 to 1.6. The low being $1,110,370.62, which was just shy of $650,000 below estimate. So I think overall, the bond issuance they will have on the project is, I think at this point, a couple million less than what we talked about months ago, as we're starting to dial into the estimates itself. The low bidder is KLS Underground out of Constantine, Michigan. We had conversations with them, asked questions about the key areas of the project. We felt, want to make sure it's covered and all is well, so, we don't see any concerns with, moving forward with KLS. But again, we can't officially award anything because of the Okra piece, so it'd just be a matter of a motion to accept the bid and authorize Commonwealth to coordinate with KLS to obtain contract documents for a future award.
They bid on those.
Yeah, couple of them.
Or do you have any other questions for him about this part? So we need a motion.
Accept the bid,
We accept this.
and then authorize us to coordinate with KLS to obtain contract documents and anticipation award.
So we accept these bids, we're saying that of all those bids, we've got at least one, maybe more that are acceptable. Or they're all acceptable, we're saying right now.
You're accepting the bid to proceed with a little better unofficially, so you're not gonna reject them. That's the key. We did
The
not.
only thing I'm asking is, until you agree to something, everything is in flux. So if we're accepting them all, I'm assuming that if this, something fell through with this.
And your motion could also be just tentative on the release of funds. Your closing with SRF is already scheduled, so it's just a tentative on the release of funds from Okra. That'd be your coverage. JD, you agree with that?
Yeah, because you can't accept it until you have the money from SRF to actually enter into the agreement. So that's why you're doing the bond, and then at that point, you can have the money, and you can accept that bid.
Would you suggest not just stating accepting and just say according with KLS, anticipation of award?
I think we're probably using one word a couple different ways. So I have a motion that, you have received, the bid, and, that you're not going to issue an award, until all documents have been approved and the
just want to make that motion.
Make that motion. You understand it better than I do.
Well, I'll make a motion then to accept the bid and tentative on the release of the effort on.
Okay, did Joe just make that thing?
No,
Yeah, it needs to be.
Oh, okay.
I agree.
I didn't hear that, so yeah, that's fine.
I have a second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Do I have to repeat it?
No.
Okay, all in favor?
Mark, were you covering the roast bid or? Are you covering the roast bid for the PCD project?
Yes.
That's all I got.
Do I have to sign anything here?
I just provide that to you, the numbers.
No, not you. I'm not. You're not.
Okay, I guess last thing, so Brooks Construction, is on the 2026 paving project. Their bid was $522,833.05. This one, you guys do have the funds, so, just need a motion to accept, that bid. And we'll work out contract documents with them for a future, official signing of contract.
Participating.
That was Penn Brown. We work with Brooks, in other areas and work on well.
I'll make a motion to approve the Brooks Construction bid of $522,833.05 for 2026 paving project.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Opposed? So that all three.
I just make sure. It's under.
David, your turn.
Alright, I'll start with any questions on my report.
So, the ready funds are not available, is that being that ready to only obligated? Correct.
But I did secure the $300,000 from the Development Commission prior to this meeting. So the project is fully funded.
Good job.
Where are those funds coming from?
Maybe therapeutic.
What other gateway signs? Was it just the welcome to Syracuse sign? So,
Yeah, that one's still pending. Although I did hear a great suggestion from our park director today. To possibly utilize, this would require some conversation, obviously. Possibly utilize the existing sailboat sign at the Tech Park entrances as the southern or the northern gateway, and only having purchased the southern gateway. And we would just refurbish that sign. And I'm assuming a lot less money. So, we just, yeah.
it's,
Potentially.
In its current location?
Yes. But that, again, we got to talk to business owners out there because they now own it. We do not own it anymore.
when would we want to make the one on that side of town, somewhere in the place?
So the one that was crafted by the gentleman a year or so ago that they had a conversation with after looks similar enough to that one, that I think they would complement each other. Both sailboats, just a different style. And it's already sitting there, we don't have to figure out where to put it.
I'm fine with them. Start working with them on that. I think that's a conversation.
Conversations are free.
I've been pro-sign all the whole year, so.
Any other questions on the board? No. No. You were done? Alright, so, camera quote, move on to that one. I revisited at the request about a redundant server. So, Imperial, all of their cameras are basically servers. So they maintain their own data. And then if we move on to a redundant server to maintain all that data in one location, say the town hall, that cost is just shy of $42,000 added on to the project cost. So for all the cameras plus the redundant server, the total bid would be $311,403.25.
And that's in.
$311,403.25.
So the cameras have memory, is that what I'm hearing?
Correct. About a week or two, depending on usage of storage that we can download.
So you would just get in, you would, on the software, you just download it. And that's the only storage that we have quoted right now outside of this extended server for $42,000?
Correct. So we try to use cloud, and all the vendors say cloud is not an option because the cellular signals are just not strong enough to guarantee that will work. So the other option, especially with remote sites, was camera storage itself.
I was thinking that last one, you said that somebody, whether it's Jim's or yours, had the ability that was pulling all that.
So that was, I was bouncing around between different vendors and conversations. I think I just spoke with. I thought that we had a central server here in the corporate, and we did not. But anybody that we would allow could see all of the cameras. It'd just be allowing toggling a switch to allow whoever to see it. So Chad would only watch Parks, Mark would only watch Holy but Jim and I could monitor all cameras if we chose to.
But our right now, as this is quoted, we only have 1 week of storage.
It's somewhere in that ballpark. But I mean, we're assuming we would know there was a problem within that time frame and be able to download that
Well,
data.
if you're looking at theft, internal theft, or anything like that.
We could add more storage, kind of the cost is gonna be.
But, so that's my next question. So for $42,000, what kind of storage are we getting?
I'd have to look at the exact quote, I don't remember, but, basically I told him, we wanted a central server that all the cameras data would download for storage. I think that one is cloud-based, if I remember. The internal and cloud-based, but I'd have to revisit the quote for sure.
Yeah, I'd like to understand that. I'm not comfortable with just a week. If we're gonna spend $275,000, I don't wanna just have a week's worth of visibility. I'd like to have 6 months or a year,
Yeah, I don't remember what he said.
I don't know on paper what our security system data management.
Look, it's 7 days.
I'm not comfortable with that.
I can ask him if there's a further upgrade.
Yeah,
Or
look at that
time frame.
and see what we get for $42,000. What that server space allows us to do.
Well, this is,
I'd love to know what the memory storage capacity is for 7
receive replicated video from each site, maintain approximately 7 days of raw video footage. I can revisit it with him.
That's it, yeah, that's his name, but it seems like that's important.
I have two other council people who aren't here, that they maybe also have some questions on it.
And then, the access road, so for the boardwalk project, the access roads and then block one, you guys can look into that. The 4 of them that are on the side of 13. NDOT has left it, essentially, stating they're okay with removing them if you so choose. The final product, if you wanna call it that, would be in conjunction with their planned paving for next year on 13. And currently, they would only remove the asphalt. Essentially the dirt ground space would still be in place. So there's still a potential of people trying to cross those old X roadways. And I asked what the options were there as far as barricading those off or making them not traffic worthy, and their best suggestion was something along the lines of, kind of reflectors. And I was like, well, that doesn't look great, and B, they'll try to ride over them. So, the other option of removing those and restoring the ditch from end to end was just cost prohibitive. They were not interested in doing that, because they don't need to, they're not going to. So if we remove them, it would just be a removal of asphalt, and then we got to figure out any way to make it, so that people don't want to drive across there. Essentially trees.
I can't imagine that, on the parks department, or not parks department, the street department, but dump truck with excavators, right? And how cost.
We're not allowed to, they have to they have to remove those, they have to put in new piping, et cetera. So they just were not interested in doing.
We can't do anything now.
We can.
That's why it's been there all this year.
That's why they've been there, it has a jurisdiction over them.
I'm sure we could come up with something creative, but no stations.
So, but we do have to give them an answer by about the middle of October, so you got a little time to think about it. But if they're gonna get it on their paving plan for next year, they have to know by mid-October.
Beautification,
Well, yeah.
that on their agenda, figure out how to beautify that street.
And I did have this conversation with the redevelopment commission as well, and they have concerns, that obviously since they're helping to fund it, they're obviously warranted. And they have concerns about pedestrian safety, about, everything that we've already talked about, and they'd like to be involved in the conversation going forward on the boardwalk.
They have concerns about the boardwalk in general.
Mostly just safety concerns, same ones that we have essentially already.
So you're saying we can't take the asphalt out between the ditches?
They will.
They're not willing to do it if you guys approve that.
Oh, okay.
We can't improve it.
What?
We can't improve it.
We can't remove the dirt. So the dirt mound would still be there that the asphalt is on. And they tunnel under with pipe. Well, we can't. They're not willing to remove that, and we can't. So it would be a cost prohibitive in their mind.
And the 4 access roads.
That costs them. It's a net zero for them.
I mean, if we found a way or decided to pay for it, they'd probably be open to that conversation. So, I don't know what that possibly looks like.
So we have a month.
Yeah. So, when's our next meeting? When's our October meeting? I need to look at it. October meeting is the 20th, they need the decision by the 19th, so you have to make a decision by the 7th.
Well, worst case scenario, if they take the asphalt out, what can we do? It's not ours, right? It's not our right of way.
We have to ask,
What can we do?
yeah, again, they're easy to talk to, and I think they'd be open-minded to conversations like their minimal recommendation was, hang reflectors to deter traffic, but
We're trying to make it,
I said that won't do it. So I think they would be open to other things, that's just their go-to on minimalism, so.
Well, yeah, we're going in the direction of trying to make things better, so if they want to take that out, what can we do that they will allow us to control? Make it.
I can ask them if they have a list of thou shalt not.
Yeah, what are our parameters, what can we do
Yeah.
with that? And, we need to ask for help, get our, what we want, and do it.
That's all I have.
All right.
so we still have gateway signs to talk about and
Gateway signs, stoplight.
stuff like. Okay.
That would be me. Any questions on my report?
Nope.
Other than that, Jonathan Moreno, our new officer, he'll be leaving for the academy on, August 31st. He'll be there through mid-December. Other than that, that's all I have.
Thank you. Art?
Not a lot from parks. August is a relatively slow month for us. All the July events went away, but, this Saturday is the first, Pee Wee football game at Trop Field, so, that is, we're probably gonna have to mow it twice this week. We mowed it yesterday. Probably have to mow it again Friday. Water from the sky works a lot better than water from the ground. The farmer's market ends, last weekly, event is the 5th, Labor Day weekend. And then we do have the Harvest Festival, which used to be like the last week, but we kind of do that in October, as the last weekend. Kind of reduced the weeks a couple years ago because the shopping seemed to drop off after Labor Day, so it's kind of the way it goes there. We are doing some other things, there are negotiations about some other potential projects and activities, such as soccer, Trop, and a variety of things, so we'll see what happens as that moves forward as well, so. Moving forward and staying busy as we can.
Chad, I have a question for you.
Sure.
This look like this, limited use agreement for Walton Youth League, Walton.
Yep.
Pee Wee football usage of the Shrine Athletic.
Yep.
Complex.
So we try to enter into an agreement with both organizations as the primary users, just to make sure everybody knows what they're responsible for and what we're responsible for. So, we mow the grass, we irrigate the grass, fertilize the grass, but the youth league baseball group is responsible for maintaining the infield. We don't do that. Same thing with football. There are certain things that we do, there's certain things that they're responsible for striping the field, that type of thing. So we just make sure everybody kind of understands, what everybody's responsibility is on those things. It's just a basic agreement. Yep. And the youth league did have a couple of board members, so they were kind of unclear on previous things. So, I sat down with both groups and kind of rewrote some things and made it official October 1st, and both groups get a chance to review it a little bit. So they're all 3 groups.
And I had a question last month when you weren't here, but we were talking about a gate for the
Yep.
pickleball court. What is the status of that?
I'm not sure we do a gate, we're doing a couple developments on there, we're adding windscreens, we're adding some signage. It doesn't line up real well to remove a section without removing like 3 sections to make it look good, and I'm not sure that looks right either. And then put some bollards in, we don't allow people to really pull up to any of our other parks to go to like the beach or anything, but you can get to there without crossing dirt. There's a paved walking path all the way to it. And we have talked about a little bit internally what to do to keep people from even accessing from the south to the bean field or the cornfield. There's a 6-foot section in there that is kind of between the two properties. There's something we can do to deter that being the access point and have people come in through the actual entrance to the park. So, it may eventually be a gate or an entrance of some sort, but we're not sure what we want to do yet.
Okay, Mark?
Any questions on my report? It's kind of a page shy of what we've been running.
Yeah.
Got the street department working a rather difficult repair on Chicago Street for the storm sewer. We made quite an excavation, actually repoured the concrete today, restored the concrete today. We need to do the asphalt yet. They replaced about 40 feet of storm pipe. It's got a lime calcium buildup at some leaky joints. And in the process of repairing what we thought we had, of course you find more. So there's at least 3 more partial blockages. The problem is extending that excavation to the west puts you at the base of that hill. It puts you in front of Hurricane/Polaris production door and construction entrance. So we've removed the worst of the blockages. We need to keep going, but with the school traffic and the hurricane construction traffic, we are not going to further excavate until some of this slows down.
I would suggest, I don't know if it's possible, but maybe targeting the week that OSC has fall break in October.
Yes, that is an option, and the way it looks, hurricane boats will be slowed down with their earthwork by then.
That'd be my fear, they get that new building and everything else, they're gonna want to use it more than not, and then it's never gonna be a good time to do it.
They've got a lot of vehicular traffic, construction traffic in and out of there. The school traffic is what is particularly hazardous, especially at lunchtime.
Sure.
We've got people, I don't blame students because it's their parents as well, popping the hill at speed, and we're right there. And if we move closer to that hill, we would need flaggers for a multi-day project, and because we're gonna have to take it down one lane, and to do that on that hill is impossible with the traffic we have. So we'd like to close the road for the safety of our employees and the general public. So with the timing of that is pretty tough.
Could we close it though from that excavation point west and leave the rest of Chicago Street east?
Absolutely. Yep, that is the intention. Close it at the intersection.
Yeah.
So they can't turn. Yeah, so they can't come east.
I hate to draw that topic, I just have one question for you, maybe David, you or maybe it would be Tyler, but so told that they excavated some east and like a huge erosion risk.
Tyler's been having conversations with them about that.
He has read me in on that, and they were, the contractor was gonna start on those immediately. The last word I had.
The people who live on the top of the corner hill are particularly concerned, and I understand.
Well, I drive by there all the time, now where I used to see grass and stuff, I look over, it looks like a cliff, literally.
And it basically is.
That is probably washed out quite a bit last week, which also doesn't help the drainage problem.
Yeah, well, they had problems with rain and their train sticking to them. But yeah, Tyler is having a conversation with their engineer. They should be fixing that rapidly.
How's the new truck?
Wonderful. Very happy water operator. It's nice not to, have to refill your energy once a week. Oil and wonder if it's gonna store. So we'll have the truck go to auction here pretty soon.
Any other questions for Mark? Hunter?
I've got no voting for you guys tonight. Do you guys have any questions on my report?
Are you doing Virginia's report?
I'm not.
She doesn't know yet. Jay,
I have nothing for you.
do you have any public comments from the floor? You guys know, no? Non-agenda items, 2 minutes. And,
I think it's a question.
sure,
Now, could you remind me what the people, forget, that you took around to the community, when that report was gonna be, come back?
Yes, it was America in Bloom, and they have their national synopsis or their annual contest. It's in, September, in Washington DC. Then we should receive the report on the judging in, October. So that is hopefully in October, early November, we could get the stakeholders of the community back together at the community center and hopefully have the executive director come back over from Columbus, Ohio to answer any questions. So, and until we see their feedback, we don't have anything to be cheerleaders for yet. So.
I'm a little confused by what you said, I didn't realize this was an award process.
Yes, it is. It's, so part of the award process is creating a report for the community. Here is what we saw, and then here are some suggestions, and then they add in what other communities have done that have been awarded.
So we'll get that whole rundown back in
October, yes. Yes.
I didn't know. I wasn't seeing.
Yeah,
I didn't know they did a report, okay.
yeah, it's actually a national
Like
contest.
school accreditation.
Exactly, yes, yeah. And, Chautauqua didn't do it for the competition, did it mainly for the report to bring back to the citizens.
Anybody have anything from the floor? No? Council?
No?
Okay. Motion to adjourn. There we go.
Well, thank you. Because I mean, they also